Good day, my name is John Navira. I'm a qualified banking practitioner and researcher. Previously, we saw that money has its origins in religious rituals, and we also saw that credit and debt preceded money, and it goes back 5,000 years ago to the Sumerian civilization. We want to look at Liberia because we've alluded to Liberia and we've questioned why it is that if Liberia has existed as long as America, why is Liberia poor and America is rich? And why is it that other African countries with a similar length of time, of course, other countries were colonized, that maybe could also make a difference, that different people came and planted their civilization there. But clearly the African Americans could have done the same. So the purpose of this presentation is to try and explore why Liberia did not become as wealthy as America. How did African Americans end up going to Africa and in a place called Liberia, of all places? Well, in the 1800s, I think it was 1821 or something like that, the slaves on an island called Haiti rebelled against their slave masters and overthrew them. The French government, because it was a French colony, sent in Napoleon's elite troops to come and re-enslave and to pacify the slaves. But the slaves fought valiantly and defeated Napoleon's armies. Having defeated Napoleon's armies, the Americans were frightened. They felt that the African Americans were a powder keg waiting to explode and that they would overthrow them. The Nat Turner rebellion in Virginia did not help matters, and it inflamed the passions of the Americans, and they came up with this strategy of repatriating African Americans to Africa. So the evangelists set up the Maryland Colonial Society with federal government support, of course, and over 40 years they repatriated 10,000 African Americans to Africa. They bought a piece of land in Liberia and settled them there, but they prohibited them from engaging in trade with the they prohibited them from drinking alcohol, and they were only to engage in agricultural activities. But what's the point of growing crops if you're not going to trade with them? I have a feeling that since the Maryland Colonial Society opened a shop, the Maryland Colonial Society was going to buy the produce and then export. So you can see, export or trade with the natives or the indigenous population. But you can see here that typically the middleman always makes a greater profit. I want you to remember that. So we find here African American brothers behaving more like the colonialists, trying to maintain dominance over the majority, which reminds us of apartheid South Africa, a minority struggling to maintain dominance over the majority. But they too had to give up. Why? Because if you're following or using a fractional reserve banking system, you have to find new people to take over the existing loans. and the majority Africans could not do so because their per capita GDP as a race was low because of years of suppression. So the best thing they had to do was give up the government to the majority. If you like this video, please click subscribe. I'll be back with my next video on Liberia.